Okay, so let's get to our jargon because let's talk about some good quality ABA. And let's take a look at what our jargon term is. What I love is that Traven is making up some terms now, which is great. So we talk about the 4 usual suspects and how these things are maintained. I don't know that this word actually exists, but access, maintained behavior. I don't think that's actually a term, but we're talking about behavior that is maintained by wanting to get access to something. But I don't think they call it access. Maybe they do. I don't know. But in any case, we've been talking about the 4 usual suspects. There's 4 main reasons why we or anyone, but including kids on the autism spectrum, will engage in a behavior. And sometimes that behavior is not functional for them, and it's not functional for us, and it's not functional for the world that these kiddos live in. And that sometimes we want to intervene on a behavior. Just want to give the asterisk. We don't intervene. Good quality ABA says we don't intervene unless it has a positive impact for the individual. That impact might be social. It might be, any one of a million different things, but we're trying to get this individual to a place where they can do whatever they want and that they can make choices for themselves about what they want. But I love, a friend of mine said, I want to teach my kids how to keep house really well. But then when they're adults, if they decide that they don't want to keep house well, that's their business. But I'm making sure that they have the skill, that they know how to do it. And I remember thinking that and thinking, well, that's a great way to be. Let's give them the skill. And then if they don't want to use it, that's up to them, right? But I think one step further in ABA, we don't intervene in a behavior unless we're confident that it is meaningful for the individual. A lot of people will talk about, well, but we're trying to get them to adhere to society's rules. I don't really care as much about society. It's just a different way of looking at it. When people say to me, well, why can't everybody else adjust to our kids? I agree with you. But when my kid was laying on the floor of a friend's house crying, saying, why won't the other kids play with me? Right? I don't want to wait for society to get it together. I want my child to have the skill to say to the kid, please play with me. And when the kid doesn't listen, to persevere and say, can we play this? Because I want him to be successful while the world is changing. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay, so access, maintained behavior. Let's take a look at what the actual meaning of this term that we sort of made up is. But it's a thing, but I don't know that we really call it this. So let's take a look at what the actual definition is. Behavior that is maintained by access to tangible stimuli. So, I want something. And I have lots of different ways of getting it as a person in the world. Me, personally, Shannon, I want something. I want a drink of water. So what can I do to get the drink of water? I could ask someone for water. I can get up and go get a bottle of water. I can, pay for a bottle of water. I can ask someone for assistance and say, help, I need water. I have all of these options open to me. But if I'm a child, and if I'm a child on the autism spectrum and I want water, all of those things I just listed may not be available to me. Our kiddos on the spectrum may not be able, they might not even be able to identify my throat is dry, so I need water. They might just be feeling, I feel like I'm choking and not really know what that is. And, it's like there's a feeling of desperation. And if I don't know how to request water and I don't have the ability to, I don't have the words to say I want water, I might hit you to get your attention because it's my best guess of this is how I've got your attention now. Maybe you'll give me water. It's not perfect, but I have very few tools in my toolbox. So I'm going to engage in behavior hoping that it's going to be that thing and I've pushed the lever and you gave me the water. So, and there are things that our kids want. They want to play with the ball. They want the toy. They want to be held by mom. They want, they want access to mom. They, want the pink bedspread, not the blue one. They're people and they have needs and they have wants and there are things they want to play with the phone. There's things that they want and they've learned over time that some of their behaviors have worked. that if I throw a fit in the grocery checkout aisle while mom's attention is on trying to pay for the bill, she will hand me candy. Oh my God. This is great information for me. Every time we go in the grocery aisle, I'm going to throw a fit so that I get a lollipop. And listen, you may not have done it. You might not have been the person who started it. It might have been grandma, or it might have been your brother-in-law, but somebody in the moment, I've done it. Please. You're like, I'm trying to pay the bill and and I got all this and I want him to stay on the card. Just here's a lollipop, right? But now the kid learns this is what I need to do to get the lollipop. And now we're in a world of hurt because now they're like, well, if I want candy, whether I'm at home or someplace else, I'm going to throw a tantrum because it works sometimes, maybe it work other times. And then we have the kiddo who, bites the kid on the playground because the kiddo is holding the ball and they want the ball, but they don't have the skill to say, can I have a turn? And then the skill to wait until it is their turn. So they bite the kid. What happens? The kid goes, drops the ball. Now our kid has the ball. Winning, right? Okay, so let's move on to our working definition here because I've gotten way ahead of myself. So basically what we're saying is if it has worked before that I got something, then it's maintained by the fact that I had access to it. So the behavior is done in order to get access to someone or something, even if it's for a short period of time. And we all do this. This is not something that is just folks on the autism spectrum. This is not just children. We all do this. If you think about the most basic thing, if you go to an ATM, you engage in the behavior of sticking your card in so that the cash comes out. That's an access maintained behavior. I stick the card in, the cash comes out, right? And if someday you stuck your card in and the cash didn't come out, you'd be upset. Hopefully you wouldn't throw a tantrum, but I've seen people throw tantrums at the ATM machine, grown adults who were not on the spectrum, and kick the machine because it ate their card, right? Our kids are no different. They want access to the things. So how do we deal with this? What do we do about this? Well, first of all, we have to figure out that this is what the issue is. The paycheck is, I get access to the thing by behaving this way. And then we change the variables. So first we teach the individual, this is how you get access to the thing you want without kicking, without biting, without hitting. You ask appropriately. And we also teach them the skill of waiting, and we teach them the skill of self-regulation that sometimes, you're going to get told no, and how to deal with the feelings of disappointment. And until we have taught these things, we're not going to be wildly successful, right? But in the meantime, we have to cut off the blood supply to the behavior. So the child who is tantruming in the grocery aisle because in the past someone gave them candy, we have to now make sure that if they tantrum in the grocery store, they do not get the candy. That it never, once the tantrum happens, there's no candy, and there's no discussion about it, right? There's just no candy. But we have to keep things fair. So if we know that this is what the child wants is candy in the aisle, one of the things that sometimes we do, after we've taught some skills, is that on your phone or on your hand or on a little sticker chart, you come up with a system that's like, here's the behavior I expect in the store. And it can be adding stickers or taking away stickers. The wonderful board certified behavior analysts know all about how to do this better than I do. Right? But I remember doing it both ways, that sometimes we would go into the grocery store and we would have 3 little smiley faces, Velcro smiley faces on a little index card, right? Laminated. And I would go, okay, remember, and I would have 3 things written on the top of the card. We're going to, ask before walking away. We're going to, we're going to stay in the cart. We're going to use our indoor voice. Whatever the behaviors were that we wanted to see in the store, and not more than 3, right? But we go, before we walk in, we go, okay, now remember, if we do this, this, and this, and we keep all 3 smiley faces, then when we go to the checkout, you get the thing that you want. My kid wasn't into candy, so it was other things. But He wanted squid. So I know, odd, but it'd be like, so if you keep the 3 smiley faces, you get squid. And so, and if he did something, in that case, if he was doing something, I would give him a warning and say, remember, we want to use our indoor voice, because sometimes he would yell in the grocery store. And then if he didn't, there was no discussion. I would just in front of him pull one of the things off, and he would see he still had 2 left, right? But that his behavior was not quite where it needed to be. We had it the other way too, where if he did good things, we would add a smiley face. And if you got 3 smiley faces, you got the squid or whatever it was that he wanted that day. And we didn't have tantrums in the checkout anymore, because we want to have them be able to appropriately gain access to the things that they want to by doing the appropriate behavior. And right now they're just upside down in their behavior, and they're like, well, I don't know what else to do, so I'm going to do this. And that's always a recipe for not fun for everybody. So isn't that great? Isn't that like powerful knowledge to know that there's a way we can help them to get what they want, what they need. We can teach them the skills, and we can build in them the confidence of, if I ask for it, I'm not always going to get it, but I know how to deal with my feelings when I don't. Woo, powerful, powerful stuff. Thanks for watching Autism Live. If you found anything helpful in this video, please give us a like. In fact, make sure that you smash that subscribe button on YouTube and give us a like on Facebook. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram for important updates. And please download our free podcast wherever you get your podcasts. See you next time. Until then, give your kiddos a hug from me, and one for you too. Bye-bye for now.
To subscribe, click here. And if you'd like to check out some more of our videos, click here.